There comes a moment when you stop texting her, you stop calling, you stop chasing, and in that silence something strange happens. At first you think she's relieved, like you've vanished from her world. But give it time, because silence doesn't erase you, it echoes. It creeps into her nights, into the spaces where your voice once lived, until she begins to wonder if you meant more than she ever admitted. This is where most men fail. They panic. They break the silence too soon. They rush back with desperate words, and in one moment, they throw away the power their absence was creating. But if you stay grounded, if you stand still while her mind spins, everything shifts. Because when a man stops chasing, her imagination takes over. And trust me, brother, the mind is far more ruthless than reality. That's the discipline we practice here on Stoic Station. So, like this video, subscribe, and start this journey now. Because what you're about to hear is the truth most men never learn. And in the comments, I want you to anchor yourself. Drop a 1 if you've ever broken silence out of fear, or a 2 if you're ready to hold your ground this time. Stay with me, because the first thing she feels in your silence isn't relief, it's shock. And once that shock sets in, the real story begins. 1. Emotional shock. The moment you stop contacting her, she doesn't forget you. She feels you louder. Most men believe silence equals invisibility. They think if they don't text, if they don't call, she will simply erase them from her mind. That fear drives them to chase, to beg, to explain, to try to force themselves back into her awareness. But here's the truth. Silence doesn't erase a man, it magnifies him. Think back to the very last moment you shared with her. Were you begging, panicked, clinging to her presence, or were you calm, collected and grounded in yourself? That final image becomes the symbol she replays again and again. Women, deeply emotional by nature, don't simply delete a story, they revisit it like a movie on endless repeat. The memory of your last interaction, whether strong or weak, becomes the lens through which she defines you now. And here lies the paradox. While you assume she has moved on, she is actually reliving your presence in the quiet. Your tone, your energy, your masculine calm, or your lack of it, now echo in her mind. The silence you leave behind is not emptiness, it's a mirror she cannot look away from. This is where most men lose their strength. They panic in the silence and rush back in. They interrupt the natural process. And by doing so, they confirm her suspicion that she still pulls the strings. Every desperate message, every late-night reach proves only one thing. You are still under her emotional control. That is the torment many men live with, the fear of being forgotten and the humiliation of appearing weak. But if you remain unmoved, her emotions do not fade. They intensify. Curiosity begins to rise. Nostalgia sneaks in. She scrolls through old texts, replays your voice notes, studies your pictures, and wonders why there is suddenly a void where your presence used to be. All you did was stand still. All you did was hold your ground. So remember this, silence is not absence. It is presence multiplied. The moment you stop contacting her is the moment she begins to feel you more powerfully than ever. Do not panic. Do not chase. Let her storm rage. Because within that storm, the truth will surface. The man who doesn't reach out is the man she cannot forget. And what happens when curiosity turns into obsession? That's where the real shift begins. 2. Curiosity ignites. When you stop reaching out, she doesn't relax, she schemes. Many men make the mistake of believing her online smiles, her cryptic quotes, her sudden glow are proof she's fine. They scroll her social media and assume she's over me. That assumption makes them vulnerable. They fall for the bait. They comment, they message, they try to reclaim what they think is lost. And in doing so, they hand their power back without even realizing it. What you must understand is that a woman knows your patterns. She knows what you will notice, what you will overthink. That picture she posts, that vague caption, that memory she suddenly resurrects, it isn't random. It's a test. She doesn't want to admit she misses you, so she provokes you instead. She wonders, does he still care? Does he still watch me? Can I still pull his strings? The real conflict is not her post, it's your reaction to it. Will you take the bait? Will you let her digital noise prove that she still has the power to rattle you? Most men do. They reach, they ask, they break their own discipline. And once they do, they find themselves back in the very cage she designed for them. Here's where the pain cuts deeper. Every reaction you give her confirms what she secretly fears and secretly craves, that she still controls you. She doesn't have to admit she misses you. All she needs is the proof of your weakness in chasing shadows of her attention. For her, it's safety. For you, it's surrender. The solution is discipline. To see her actions for what they truly are, not signs of freedom, but signs of inner conflict. She is torn between pride and longing, regret and desire. And the longer you refuse to react, the louder that conflict becomes inside her. A Stoic man doesn't flinch at noise. He doesn't chase images. He moves in silence. And that silence is deafening to her because it's the one thing she cannot bend. So let her play her games. Don't step on the stage, because the show only survives if you clap. And when you don't, the performance collapses. And what happens after the act falls apart? That's when she starts looking for you in the shadows. 3. The stalking phase. If you hold your silence long enough, she will start searching for you in the shadows. This is the part most men never believe. They fear being replaced. They see her smiling beside someone new, hear laughter that seems louder than before, and they assume the story is finished. That fear drives them to panic. They confront her. They try to prove they are better. They beg to reclaim what they think they've lost. But here is the truth. When a woman moves on too quickly, it is rarely connection. It is almost always distraction. On the surface, she may look like she's thriving. She may post pictures with another man, go out with friends, make her life appear brighter, louder, fuller. But behind that mask, every gesture is measured against you. Every word he says is compared to the way you spoke. Every touch he offers is weighed against the calm power you once carried. And deep down, she feels it. It is not the same. She can try to convince herself it is, but her heart knows better. Yet she will not admit it. Pride won't let her. Instead, she turns her curiosity into secrecy. She stalks quietly. She checks your stories at odd hours. She scrolls through your pictures late at night, pretending it's nothing more than a casual glance. She asks mutual friends about you, slipping questions into small talk as if she doesn't care. But what she is really searching for is evidence. Proof that she still matters. Proof that you haven't truly let go. And here is where the torment cuts both ways. For her, because every new distraction feels hollow. For you, because the temptation to react is strong. If you confront her, you expose yourself as needy. If you try to compete, you lose your frame. The pain of being replaced only becomes real if you allow it to control you. Your strength lies in stillness, to see her actions not as rejection, but as confession. When she hides behind another man, when she scrolls your page in the dark, what she is really saying is, "I'm scared I've lost my place." The more you refuse to engage, the more that fear grows inside her. Remember this, replacement is not connection, it is denial, and denial always cracks under the weight of truth. Your silence forces her to confront what distraction cannot cover. The void you left becomes undeniable, and in that void, she does not forget you. She compares every man to you. And what happens when every comparison ends in disappointment? That's when the silence you held becomes the loudest voice in the room. 4. The tests. She doesn't want your love back first. She wants her control back. That is the hidden truth behind the games she plays. When a man sees her with someone new, his first instinct is to compete. He wants to argue, to prove, to show he is still the one who deserves her attention. But that instinct is the very trap she lays. She doesn't need your competition. She only needs to know one thing. Can she still pull your strings? That's the real test. The ways she tests you are often subtle, easy to miss unless you are grounded. A strange text that doesn't quite fit the context. A post online that feels just a little too pointed. A question that cuts deeper than it should. These are not accidents. They are probes. Each one is carefully designed to answer a single question. Can I still move him? Can I still trigger his emotions? And here's where most men stumble. They react. They respond with jealousy, anger, desperation. They send long messages to explain themselves. They show up trying to prove their worth. And in doing so, they confirm exactly what she is testing for, that she still owns their emotions. Every reaction says, yes, you still control me. And once she sees that, the respect begins to fade. Respect is fragile. The moment it breaks, attraction follows it out the door. This is why so many men never get her back. Not because she feels nothing, but because she cannot respect the man who cannot control himself. The pain of this realization is sharp. To know she is not truly asking for your love, but for proof of your weakness, cuts deep. But this is also where your strength is forged. The Stoic path is clear. You do not fight, you do not chase, you do not prove. You observe. You let the test pass through you without breaking your frame. You remain calm, detached, steady in your own world. And when she sees that, something begins to shift. She realizes that her tricks no longer reach you, that her words no longer bend your spirit. She remembers that no one else gives her the same calm, the same strength, the same presence you once did. Respect starts to return, and respect, not desperation, is the soil in which desire grows again. So when the tests come, and they always do not see them as threats. See them as opportunities. Every time you refuse to flinch, you show her that the man she lost is not the man she thought she could control. And when she realizes you cannot be shaken, that's when her curiosity becomes regret, and regret becomes longing. And the question that will haunt her is simple. If she can no longer move you, who can? 5. Silence becomes power. The more you disappear, the more she feels you. Men often mistake silence for weakness, believing that if they don't remind her of their presence, she will forget them. But silence doesn't erase, it engraves. It carves your image deeper into her memory than any word, call, or message ever could. As time passes, her mind doesn't move forward as smoothly as you imagine. It edits. It begins to polish the story of your past, cutting away the rough edges, softening the arguments, and sharpening the warmth. She remembers the laughter you shared, the safety she felt resting near you, the small moments of intimacy that once felt ordinary, but now glow brighter in the quiet of absence. The mind plays tricks, and in silence, those tricks become powerful illusions. Yet here's the danger. If you break the silence too soon, you shatter the illusion she is building in her own mind. You drag her back into raw reality before her emotions are ready, and reality in its unprocessed state rarely satisfies. That is why silence cannot be treated as simple absence. It must be recognized as deliberate strategy. The painful truth is this: while you sit doubting yourself, convinced she has moved on, She is quietly replaying the best of you. She hears a song and can't help but think of that night you both laughed until sunrise. She walks past a place you once visited together and feels your presence without you being there. Each memory deepens not her anger, not her frustration, but her craving for the calm you once carried, for the stability only you offered. Your only task is to hold the line, to let your life expand in that silence, to grow in ways she cannot see directly but can feel through the energy you project when you do reappear in her orbit. Because the man who can live without her, even though he once loved her, is the man who becomes unforgettable. That strength unsettles her because it is rare. So don't post to show off. Don't reach out to reassure her that you still care. Just keep building your life brick by brick, grounded in your own peace, because the more you cultivate that peace, the louder the echo of your absence grows inside her mind. Silence is not weakness. It is the most powerful presence a man can carry. And what happens when presence becomes louder than words? That's when her pride begins to fracture. 6. Ego and insecurity. The longer you stay silent, the more her ego cracks. At first, she is confident. She believes you'll return, that you'll break first. That belief feeds her pride, reassures her that no matter how far you step back, you will always circle back to her. But when days turn into weeks and your silence remains unbroken, the story begins to change. Certainty fades. Doubt creeps in. The mirror of her ego, once polished, starts to fracture. Silence has a way of turning the mind against itself. At first, she feels powerful, but as time stretches, guilt begins to rise. She starts questioning the way she treated you, the times she dismissed your presence, the moments she took for granted. Nostalgia floods in quietly. A song you once shared suddenly feels heavier. A familiar place brings back the sound of your laughter. Even the scent of something ordinary awakens memories she thought she buried. And with each passing day of your composure, those memories press down harder, carving into her heart. But here's where men often fail. They can't endure the waiting. The thought of her not caring feels unbearable, so they break the silence. They reach out to relieve their own anxiety. And in doing so, they rescue her ego from the very pain it needed to feel. The moment you remind her of your availability, her insecurity dissolves. Her pride is safe again, and with her pride intact, her desire disappears. The Stoic answer is patience. Trust memory and time to do what no message ever can. Let her ego collapse under the weight of your absence. Let her insecurity grow as she begins to realize she may not have you anymore. And when that realization finally strikes, it won't be logic that moves her. It will be raw emotion. She won't just think of you, she will feel the loss of you. That's the kind of loss no distraction, no replacement, no false pride can silence. Silence doesn't just crack her ego, it awakens her heart. And once her heart wakes up, she won't see you the same again. 7. When she reaches out. When she finally cracks, she won't say, "I miss you." She will test you. That's the part that catches most men off guard. They wait for a grand confession, for her to finally admit what she's been feeling. But that's not how it works. Women don't risk full vulnerability at first. They send small signals, they drop casual lines, and what she's really doing is measuring you, measuring whether the man she once knew still belongs to her or whether he has truly become someone stronger. This is where countless men throw away months of progress in a single moment. She sends a short "hey" or reacts to your story. It feels like the breakthrough you've been waiting for, but if you rush in, if you answer with all the excitement you've been bottling up, the mystery dies instantly. What looked like strength collapses back into neediness. and the respect that was quietly rebuilding evaporates into thin air. Her first reach is never random. A meme, a question out of nowhere, a subtle comment. It all carries the same hidden message. Can I still access him? Can I still pull him back if I want to? It is less about missing you and more about testing whether you have truly grown. If you treat her small gesture as salvation, you prove you've been waiting by the phone, and that image destroys everything your silence had created. This is the tragedy. Men believe she wants the old version of them back. She doesn't. She wants to know if the new version, the calm, grounded, self-respecting man, is real. If you collapse the moment she waves at you, then nothing has changed. And if nothing has changed, she feels no reason to return. The solution is composure. Respond with kindness, but not desperation. Warmth, but not eagerness. Let your tone, your timing, your presence reflect the man you've become. A man who is moving forward with or without her. Show her subtly that your world is not built around her approval anymore, that you are rooted in yourself, not in her attention. And when she sees that, respect crystallizes. Respect gives birth to attraction, and attraction built on strength, not chaos, is the only kind that lasts. So let her test the waters. Stand steady on the shore. Because a man who can remain calm under her reach is a man she cannot forget. And here's the real twist. Once she realizes she can't pull you back on command, the question that will haunt her isn't whether you still want her, it's whether she still has the chance to have you at all. Now, you've now walked through all 7 stages of what happens when you stop contacting her. From the first shock of your silence, to the curiosity that ignites, to the stalking in the shadows, to the subtle tests she throws your way. You've seen how silence doesn't erase you. It magnifies you. How it reshapes memory, cracks her ego, stirs her insecurity, and ultimately forces her to face what she tried to deny. Most men never learn this. They live their lives in reaction. They see her post, they panic. They see her with someone else, they break. They get that small message, and they rush back with eagerness, throwing away the power they had built in silence. And because of this, they never taste what true strength feels like. The strength of being calm, steady, unshaken, even in the middle of her storm. Silence, when it comes from weakness, is just avoidance. But silence, when it comes from self-respect, is the loudest language a man can speak. It is not emptiness, it is sovereignty. It tells her without words that you will not be moved by games, by noise, by temporary distractions. It tells her that you have become untouchable because you are rooted not in her approval, but in your own center. The Stoics taught us this. Control what is yours to control. Release what is not. Her reactions, her tests, her masks, these belong to her. They are not your burden. Your duty is to master yourself, to remain disciplined in silence, to let absence work as presence, to let time do the carving you cannot do with words. And when you do, you will see how the balance shifts, not because you forced it, but because you allowed her own mind to reveal what she tried to bury. Let this be your reminder. You do not measure your worth by a woman's reaction. You measure it by your ability to hold your frame, even when every fiber in you wants to break it. You are not forgotten. You are not invisible. You are simply no longer available to a space that stopped valuing you. And that, right there, is freedom. If this message brought you clarity, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video so other men can reclaim their strength. Subscribe to Stoic Station, your daily source of discipline, clarity, and inner power. I'll see you in the next video. But remember, your journey doesn't end here. Click left or right on your screen right now and keep walking the path of becoming the man who who cannot be shaken.